The Average James Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Average James podcast. I'm your low maintenance friend, Average James, where we talk about anything and everything. If you happen to be watching live, I apologize up front for my attire. You know, these episodes that I post on Fridays are just going to be audio, but if you do happen to watch live, I'm trying to pick a time that's going to work best every week to go live to do this so that we can interact. For those of you who don't know, when I do record these, you have the opportunity to see my face, and there's also a chat option. I posted it on Facebook here recently, and if you click on it, you're able to jump into the chat, talk with me live again, where we can talk about anything. Unless you happen to be driving down the road, then please don't text me. But if if you do happen to be pulled over or you're not working the way you're supposed to and you want to chat, please feel free to do that. So let's get into the show. Recap of the format real quick. The show is always 20 minutes or less. I'm going to do my best to always stick to that. The whole point is to get down, dirty, into the episode, talk about our topics, answer any questions that you all may have, and then get out so that you guys can go on about your day. No topic is off limits, and as always, this podcast depends on you, the listener, and the questions that you send in. Now, I know that this is my first official episode, so I do plan on getting better as we go along. And I also didn't anticipate anybody sending in any topics right away. So I picked a few that was just kind of on top of mind over the course of this past week. And I figured I'd go from there, and then I will talk about your all's topics and the things that you send to me next week on next week's show on episode 2. First, before we get into a couple of my topics that I have picked out here, I just want to say it is 9/12, the day after 9/11. I don't know where you all were when 9/11 happened. I know me and my wife are youth pastors at church, and all of the youth were born way after 9/11 happened. I mean, you think about it, it's hard to believe that's been 23 years ago in 2001. Myself, I was in seventh grade in Mr. Liggett's science class, and I remember them rolling in the old TV VCR combo on that stand. He rolled it in there, turned the TV on, and we happened to catch the second plane running into the towers. And so even after all this time, 23 years later, I never forgot. 7 years after that happened, I joined the Army myself and went over to Afghanistan to serve my country, which might be a good segue into our first topic. So, did you all happen to catch that debate on Tuesday? If you didn't, you didn't miss much. But first thing I want to really talk about is that debate on Tuesday night. Honestly, I don't really think that debate really changed anything. One thing that really stood out to me was Trump's performance. I mean, the first debate, Biden was kind of, dead on arrival. They just kind of wheeled his carcass into into the debate stage there. I don't think he knew where he was. He wanted his oatmeal or his applesauce or something, and he wasn't able to get it, so he was kind of angry, kind of looking around, wondering what all was happening. So Kamala Harris didn't really have a huge bar to overcome in order to be considered the debate winner. I mean, to have a pulse and to be able to form sentences and string paragraphs together, I think is a big plus for the Democratic side of the aisle for this election cycle. So, a lot of people were saying when the debate was over that Kamala Harris was the winner, but I think after the dust settles over the next couple of days, we're going to see a bit of a different outcome. Actually, I think next week we might not even be talking about this debate because a debate that I am really excited for is the debate between Tim Walz and JD Vance. I think that JD Vance is going to completely wipe the floor with Tim Walz. But sticking on the debate at hand on the Tuesday debate, I'll talk about the VP debate later on whenever that actually happens. But sticking to the Tuesday debate, I felt like Trump, he missed so many golden opportunities to take Kamala Harris down. I mean, there were moments where he could have landed some serious, decisive blows right out of the gate. Whenever ABC, I can't remember the two hosts' names, but right out of the gate, when they asked, do you feel like the economy is better off now than what it was 4 years ago? And Kamala Harris danced around the question. Obviously, she wasn't going to answer it because everybody knows that they're paying more for milk. Everybody knows they're paying more for gas. Everybody knows the economy sucks now compared to what it did 4 years ago. But Trump was too distracted. Let's just face it, he was too distracted. He was chasing squirrels. He loves talking about himself. I think it's really easy. Myself, obviously, I'm a Republican, I'm a registered Republican, but don't let that deter you from watching my show if you're not. I try to call it fair like it is. I will say something that Kamala Harris is real good at doing, especially as a woman, is she knew exactly how to press Trump's buttons, man. And, when she mentioned, yeah, I hear some people get bored at your rallies and get up and walk out and leave immediately. Like he started talking about that. He felt like, oh, no, my rallies are awesome, and your rallies suck. No, your rallies suck. And all of a sudden, they're not talking about policy. They're not talking about anything that actually matters. Instead, they're, having a little food fight, smacking each other with sticks out on the playground. I it just it oh, it was really frustrating. But despite all of this, I got to be honest, I still think that Donald Trump is the best choice for our country. I mean, you cannot argue that inflation is up over 20%. I don't think that they can use COVID as an excuse anymore. They want to talk about the record, job loss and stuff under Trump. But I mean, 2020, 2021, the economy was completely shut down because of COVID. No one was leaving their house. I think those years are just a wash. You can't use those in the stats. But inflation now, right now, today, I heard a stat today. I think it actually came out of the New York Times where they were saying that an average person, middle class, I'm talking people that make under 400K a year, are paying more than $400 every month in order to keep the same a living style. We're talking about food, going out and getting your meat, your groceries, your gas, you know, which don't even get me started on Taylor Swift and her endorsement of Kamala Harris. Big whoop diddy doo dah. She gave her little endorsement. I mean, she endorsed Obama back in the day. It's not surprising that Taylor Swift, little Tay Tay, is going to be endorsing Kamala Harris. I mean, she's a big lib. She's always been a Democrat, and and she's not going to feel things the way that normal Americans feel things. We got middle class people that are worried about filling up their gas tank. Can I fill up my tank in order to make it to work? Are my kids going to be able to eat? And meanwhile, she's endorsing Kamala Harris from like her private jet, going to one of her shows or something. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm all about capitalism. People want to pay her, people like her music. It's cool, but just don't act like we're in the same place. You know what I mean? But I digress. I don't need 4 more years of Kamala Harris impacting my pocketbook. I mean, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I think Trump is going to be better for the country. Biden is Kamala Harris and vice versa. I don't think Biden knows where he is 90% of the time. We might already have had a female president and not even know it. Joe Biden was probably leading the country for a couple of years. And now Kamala Harris, after she, pushed Joe Biden down some stairs and got the nominee without any votes, the nomination without any votes, rather. Now, I guess she is running the country for the last couple of months. I think everybody has forgotten that Joe Biden is actually the president still for the next couple of months. But, you know, so anyway, enough about me rambling on there. I mean, let's be honest. Biden, long story short, he's a walking shell. Kamala Harris is probably already running the show. So, honestly, what do you think? Do you think that Kamala Harris or Donald Trump getting in office is going to make that big of a difference? How about at the pump? How about at the gas station? Back in 2020, I remember still paying a lot less for gas. Do you think we'll ever see gas go under $2 a gallon again? Man, wouldn't you love to see like 190? I remember I remember when gas went to $1 when I was a kid, and Dad was just staring at the sign, and he was like, "That's highway robbery. There's no way I want to pay $1 for gas." And now, my goodness, I would sell an organ, maybe a kidney or something, in order to get gas down to below $2. So, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think we'll ever get there again? Anyway, let me go ahead and switch over to my other topic. I guess maybe a little bit of a lighter note. We're 13 minutes into this podcast, so I want to make sure we get this other little portion covered here. Just, I guess, a bit of a light rant, if I haven't been ranting enough already. On a less serious note, but also an equally annoying note, is Hollywood, man. And I'm not talking about all of the, politics. No, politics aside, I just want to be entertained. You know what I mean? And I hate how Hollywood just keeps recycling the same old crap over and over and over. I feel like, you know, millennials are the ones that are taking their kids to movies now, right? And I feel like Hollywood obviously knows that, and so they need to pander. So we're going to get like Toy Story 15 eventually, right? We're getting all of the, these Ghostbuster movies, and I just saw the other day where Hollywood is doing another Goonies movie. Why? Why do I need to see another Goonies movie with all of these kids that are now in their 50s? They've already found the treasure. The ship was already released. Like, why are we doing this again? Okay, I just don't know why. Let me give you just a little bit of an example. Let's say on the Marvel side, on the comic book side, with all of these Marvel movies, I've always been a big Marvel fan, but you know they are already recycling RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. He's coming back as Doom. They're trying to recapture that magic of Iron Man from 2008. We all know that Phase 3 was a big flop. It sucked super hard, and now they're bringing back RDJ to try to save the franchise. Seriously, we can't come up with any other new ideas. You know what I mean? What do you think? Are we doomed? Are we doomed to see reboots forever? Can I please, for the love just see a new movie, a new concept. I don't need another Top Gun. Next thing you know, they're going to come out with Tom Cruise. He's going to be 89 years old, and they're going to come out with Days of Thunder, and he's going to be out there racing in his wheelchair. That he's souped up with an engine, and he's racing with the other geriatric people. They can't find, you know what I mean? Like, give me a new movie, something that's, nothing against Beetlejuice. I've heard that it's a good movie. I'm going to go out. I'm going to see it. But for the love, man, they redid Twister. It was okay, but you're not going to be able to beat Bill Paxton, okay? You're not going to be able to capture the magic of all of those original actors that were in Twister. So it was an okay movie, but just give me something new. I just want something new. But I don't know. Maybe this is just me getting old because I got a confession to make. Apparently, I'm turning into an old fart. I know it's a shocker. I'm getting gray, but I just learned yesterday that there's a whole nother generation out there called Gen Alpha. Did you know this? I thought Gen Z was the next generation. I didn't know now that there was a Gen Alpha. Apparently, this is a generation of people that were born after 2013. How is this even possible that there are two generations after mine now? I'm a millennial, but I'm also an elder millennial. I'm right there in between, should I be a millennial? Should I be a Gen Xer? I'm a millennial, okay? But I'm an elder millennial. I still remember what it was like to have a payphone, dad looking around for payphones. I remember, not having the internet. I remember when I did have the internet, I had a sweet gateway computer that was like a different color and it looked like a cow on the box. And mom had to yell at me to get off of the computer because she was expecting a phone call. Like, I remember what it was like to play outside before the sun, like hurts children now. Like they're like vampires. They can only go out certain times of the day or something like that. I don't know. But I mean, I saw the other day that the CD, you remember the non-skip CDs that you used to carry around, like you'd have them and you'd shake them real hard to see if they would actually skip or not. The non-skip Walkmans were crap. They did skip, but we all had them on the bus. That is in a museum now. Can you believe that? The CD non-skip Walkmans are in a museum of what old technology used to look like. They are playing, y'all, Linkin Park on a classic rock station. Linkin Park. Kids don't even know who Linkin Park is now. It's on classic rock. What's one of the things that made you feel old lately? Let me know. I can't be the only one that's feeling this age, okay? I can't be the only one that's feeling old. What's something that's made you feel old lately? So we're at that time, right at around 20 minutes. So I want to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you all for today. Thank you for tuning in to the Average James podcast. Look, remember, send in your questions and thoughts, and who knows, your topic might be in my next episode. Until next time, take care, stay average, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Average James podcast. See y'all.
The Average James podcast. Tune in fast.